Yeah, your next comedian is just trying to help. Please welcome Kim! Okay, so yes, Kate is right. I do love to help, but don't get it twisted. Just because I enjoy helping, I wouldn't say that it's necessarily easy for me. As a caseworker, I had to help, and I had to give bad news to kids sometimes. I had to give bad news like, no, sorry, you are not getting adopted. I had to give bad news like, you are getting adopted. And this is something I actually had to say one time. Bad news, no, you cannot ride your unregistered, uninspected, uninsured moped on the turnpike, not only because you don't have a driver's license, but mostly because you're legally blind. So giving bad news in my professional life, I think, affects me in my personal life. The other day, I was at CVS, standing in line at the pharmacy, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this woman trying to use that blood pressure machine, that public access blood pressure machine, except with her foot. And I was just left with a lot of questions at that point. Questions like, well, did she not see the instructions on the machine? Questions like, has she never been to the doctor to have her blood pressure taken before? Questions like, is she Amish? I don't know. So at this point, she starts to get a little bit loud. And, like I said, I'm usually one to step in and help, but I am just tired of helping at this point. Even the Good Samaritan, I'm sure, got tired of helping from time to time. So if I hadn't been so tired, this explains why I wasn't chomping at the bit to tell this woman, bad news, you cannot take your blood pressure by sticking your foot in that machine. You're going to have to sit down like the rest of us. So I had to, at one point, make a deal with my therapist. Dr. Nancy said, Kim, you've made a lot of progress. You got back on your meds. Things seem to be going pretty good at work. You got back together with your girlfriend. If you want to keep seeing me, we're going to have to figure out how to make this billable. You're going to have to come up with some other problems. Why don't you face a fear? So a couple days later, I go to a haunted house to face my fear because I want to keep Dr. Nancy as a therapist, honestly. Good therapists are very hard to find. Of all the therapists I've had in my life, she stayed awake the entire session, and she made appropriate eye contact, so I didn't want to lose that. So I go to the haunted house. I'm in the parking lot. It's just a really big, dark, scary field, and I'm wondering, how am I going to get through going into this haunted house? Because I really am afraid. But I'm doing it for Dr. Nancy, so I call upon my favorite coping skill that Dr. Nancy taught me, which is acting as if. And if you're not familiar with acting as if, it's really faking it until you make it. You pretend like you have those skills that you wish you really had in real life. So I said to myself, okay, guess I'm acting as if, but I'm so nervous that I go too far. I not only act as if I'm not afraid, I act as if I want to be the scary character's friends, and that I want to help them. So I give it a whirl for Dr. Nancy. I get out of the car, and just in a matter of seconds, a scary zombie guy is coming at me, and he's all, "Arrgh, arrgh." And I say, oh my gosh, are you okay? You have this huge gash above your eye. You should definitely be applying some sort of sterile gauze to that with firm pressure because you are going to bleed out. Just 1 second, I have some non-latex gloves and a first aid kit in my purse. Just 1 second. Do you have any allergies? And that was just in the parking lot. So we go buy tickets. We go into the actual haunted house, and the first scary character I see is this very pale gray woman in a white dress. There's blood on the front of it, and she's coming at me with a coat hanger. And she's all, ooh, help me find my baby. I lost my baby. So I go into helping mode, and I say, this is your body, your choice. Just a second, I have some Planned Parenthood pamphlets in the bottom of my purse, and just giving her options, honestly. But I'm sure I was not the first person, her first customer, to give her that reaction that day, because she just stopped trying to scare me at that point. And at first, I was a little bit hurt, like you barely tried to scare me, you gave up so easily. But then on the other hand, I was like, well, maybe acting as if is working. I keep going. The next scenario I see is a scary circus scene with a scary clown. There's 3 actors over here in the corner playing the part of children on tricycles going around in a circle. Scary calliope music is playing, the whole bit. It's pretty creepy. But thankfully, it hits me. I have something in common with the scary clown guy. We both work with children. So I go into a spiel about, oh my gosh, isn't it so rewarding, but so challenging to work with children. When you get to see them make the progress, it just really warms your heart. But again, at that point, all of the actors were now on to me, and they stopped scaring me and just let me go peacefully through the haunted house. So by the end of it, I'm thinking, this is great. I got to go peacefully through the haunted house as well as keep Dr. Nancy as my therapist. But I went back to therapy. Dr. Nancy was not impressed. She said, Kim, you actually did acting as if wrong. And I'm thinking, I just bought myself at least a couple more months of therapy, so I think I actually did acting as if correctly. Thank you very much, Dr. Nancy. Recently, I got my ancestry DNA results in, and my suspicions are confirmed. I come from a very long line of do-it-yourselfers. It is genetic, and it's on both sides of my family. And I do understand being a do-it-yourselfer to a certain extent. It can save you money. Some people enjoy it for some reason. If you've looked at Pinterest lately, people can just take 3 pallets, a couple mason jars, and some twine, throw it together and come up with a tiny house / microbrewery / food truck. So my ancestors are actually ahead of their time, I guess, when it comes to that, so the joke's on me. But my mom, definitely a do-it-yourselfer. She will not buy anything. She will scavenge from what we already have around the house, much like a raccoon. So in our backyard, she would pick pears from our pear tree, and she would make homemade fruit snacks, homemade fruit roll-ups, which were sweet at home when you're 7 or 8 years old. But when you take that to school, in the school cafeteria at lunch, it didn't afford me a lot of bargaining leverage. I would say to my fellow 3rd graders, who wants to trade your Cheetos for some fruit leather? But I just had dead silence. But my mom is not the only do-it-yourselfer in our family. My dad also is a do-it-yourselfer, especially when it comes to homemade medical procedures, which apply not only to the human members of our family, but also to our pets. But thankfully, he was okay with having Chrissy the dog spayed at the vet. But he was not going to go back to the vet to get those stitches removed, because that was time and that was money, and we could do it yourself. So we plop poor Chrissy up on the kitchen table, spread her 4 legs apart. I'm holding her rear legs on the kitchen table, and Chrissy and I kind of share a moment. We look at each other, and I look into her eyes. I'm confused. She's confused. Neither of us want to be here. And I just look at her helpless face, and I say, same. Then I look to my dad and I say, what am I even supposed to be doing right now? I'm not an EMT, I'm not a CNA, I'm not a vet assistant, I'm a 12-year-old girl. And this is when I learned that my dad's advice applies in every situation. He says, you're just going to keep an eye on this while I take these stitches out with toenail clippers. But honestly, I'm going to end on a holiday theme for you. My dad took do-it-yourselfing to a dangerous place when he made electrical equipment. He would piece and part pieces from appliances around the house, combine it together, and Frankenstein our own electrical equipment. So he very sweetly made me a Christmas tree. It was about 3 feet tall. It was fiber optic rainbow lights. It rotated, and it played 3/4 of a verse of Jingle Bells. And it was plugged in with an answering machine cord. So it also started to get a little warm. So I brought that to my dad's attention, and of course he said, just keep an eye on it. And I'm thinking, maybe this isn't a gift for me. This maybe is a better gift for somebody else. So here is your holiday tip for that hard to buy for person on your list that maybe or maybe not is in the mafia, and maybe or maybe not could benefit for some sort of fraudulent fire insurance scam. Get them a 3-foot tall Christmas tree that has rainbow fiber optic lights that rotates as well as is on fire and plays 3/4 of a verse of Jingle Bells. So you're welcome for that tip, and thank you very much.